first thing first, we got to talk Jalen Carter. Okay? The guy's been in a slew of mess since the national championship. Wasn't he the guy that you posted a video of him getting pulled over for going 85? Same guy, right?
89 and a 45, yes.
89 and 45. Cop basically let him off the hook. Same guy that drove away from the scene of the crime.
Who is that cop?
I don't know.
Who lets somebody off for going at 85? I don't get it.
It's Jalen Carter. He's probably a Dogs fan. And then he shows up to his, what was it today? His, not media day. It's pro day at Georgia. 20 pounds overweight. Couldn't finish a workout. Is that what I'm hearing? Are these rumblings true? Did you hear the same thing? I heard this from a Georgia fan.
I heard it was 9 pounds overweight, but it could be 20.
Look,
but yeah, yeah, go ahead.
When you start, when it starts at 9, then it gets to 11, then it gets to 12, them cookies start adding up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially when you're hanging out with Stetson Bennett the night before. I mean, yeah, it does add up. Yeah,
it's interesting. I mean, this guy was looking like a number 1 draft pick. And I think at this point he could slide down all the way to the Jags at 24 with all this nonsense. Do you think? I mean, this is not a good look. I mean, just it feels like it's one after the other in a very short time period. It's like the Kirby cuffs come off and all hell's breaking loose. And it may not have all happened at one time, but all of it's being released at one time.
Yeah, I mean, I think even with the trouble he got into prior to the draft and then him having come back. I think even with a good pro day, he still would have been all right. But now that his pro day has looked rather underwhelming, that could affect him a little bit. But I mean, you got to go by his whole year of talent. Like, I mean, what he's done in college, and then you got to say, well, is he still worth first round after all this trouble? After showing up to pro day looking like you've eaten 1,000 donuts? I mean. I don't know. I don't know what those NFL draft scouts are thinking or what the deal is, but it's just not a good look, man. I mean, it's really not a good look. I had a few people say, well, maybe he was stressed out. Well, that's what happens when you get in trouble. You get pretty stressed out. So I hope that, I mean, like, as much as I make fun of the situation and heckle Georgia fans and all that other kind of stuff, I do hope the best for the guy because he's still a human being. But yeah, it's just not a good look.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And again, like stress, whatever it may be, I'm sure he is going through a lot, which is something to take into consideration. But when you come to, your pro day, which is supposed to be your shining moment, and you can't finish a workout, the weight thing, if you look fast, you look sharp, not a big deal, right? I mean, those guys can move weight pretty easily. So we as, the media guys and people talking about it, we like to emphasize when we hear about the weight because it's exciting to stir things up. But the fact that he couldn't finish an exercise tells you maybe the weight is a little bit heavier than, just more than what it sounds. So we'll see. Look, it's a big pay cut. That's the biggest thing. I mean, he'll still get drafted. He'll still get picked up. And it could be the best thing that happened to him because of him losing money now. It's best he loses it now versus him going into the draft, first or second, getting a fat check. And then, kind of being disappointing and getting slapped in the face later on and not being able to bounce back. Sometimes kind of getting, clapped early before you get drafted could be a wake-up call. And whatever team does get him could reap the benefits from it. Who I see reaping the benefits from this would be like a New England Patriots. That's a team that somewhere he needs to go to kind of get held accountable. I don't feel like the Jaguars would be a good place. I mean, it'd be fun. Obviously, I kind of make that joke, but I just think that team's in a building cycle. They need some good culture. They don't need a headache at the moment. If there's somebody that can get this man in check, it's going to be Billy B over there in New England. So we will see.